Oak Ridge Disciple House is a proud supporter of Central Texas high school football. The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based, nonprofit 501c3 Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addiction. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel. That light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, please visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com.
I'm not allowed to say, but this is my favorite station.
It's cool. We know. Download the Hipp Radio Network app or say, Alexa, listen to HRN Georgetown.
Here's your Georgetown forecast from the Hipp Radio Network Weather Center. A dense fog advisory continues until 10 a.m. this morning. Mainly sunny skies today with a high of 80. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast skies tonight, lows dip down to about 61. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 78. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 63 degrees.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The switch is on. Welcome to Good Morning Georgetown with Rob and Ken, waking you up in the mornings and getting your day started with the hottest hits, news, and jokes. Get ready. And now here's your hosts, Rob Hipp and Ken Covington.
And Michael Price on a Friday coming in here in just a minute. What? Good morning, Georgetown. Hey, it's Friday. Friday. How about that, man? 7:24 in the a.m. on a Friday morning. Waking up today, 62 degrees under a dense fog advisory. Don't run your brights on a dense fog advisory because it, pops up everywhere. Well, again, welcome. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Rob Hipp. Joined today, special today, because we didn't do the show yesterday. I didn't do the show yesterday. I don't want to pull Michael into that. He was ready to roll. It's Michael Price joining us on a Friday. What's going on, man?
Good morning, brother. How are you today?
Hey, I'm blessed more than I deserve. I didn't want to pull you in on that bad voodoo saying that we didn't have a show yesterday. I didn't have a show. You were ready to go yesterday, man.
You know what? I was actually kind of grateful. I got a little bit of a break and a lot of work going on right now. We are so blessed. I'm coming to you from the Grand Endeavor Homes World Headquarters, and we are so blessed right now with what's happening in our world, and so just working. Take a break from it. Just today, when you said, hey, let's do the show Friday morning, I'm like, why not? Let's have some fun with it. And I do love that you opened with the classic radio voice, Rob Hipp, coming live. Awesome, baby.
Oh, man, we're having fun, man. Well, good morning, Michael. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Lee's normally here on Fridays, but he's hunting this morning. I want to say thanks. I got some Huntsville friends joining this morning. I'm here in Huntsville, of course, during the week, even though we still do the Georgetown show. And Valerie joining us. Good morning, Valerie. January from here in Huntsville. Les Best joining us. Casey Pond, good morning. Stephen Reed, good morning to you joining us. He was saying it's a little hard to hear you, Michael. I don't, let me see if I can, I can't really crank you up on my end. It's all good, dude. You just got to yell this morning, Michael.
Like,
hello, can you hear me?
Like that.
It's all good, man.
Oh,
so we got a lot of good friends joining us this morning. Want to welcome everybody in. It is Friday, man. What are you most excited about on Fridays? Let us know. Let us know what you're most excited about on Fridays. Fridays for me back in the day, not to be negative, it was always just another day because I had to work the next day. Want to welcome everybody in on the app, by the way. That was my bad. We're bringing you in now if you're on the app. Good morning, Georgetown. We got a lot of folks joining us on the app this morning. So wanted to welcome you in here quickly for Good Morning Georgetown. Rob Hipp alongside Michael Price. Yeah, man. So back in the day, Fridays used to be really cool when you were a kid. You'd get excited because you didn't have to go to school the next day. I remember, Michael, that it was just, there was something cool about being on the bus on Friday and that bus ride home, knowing that I didn't have to go to school the next day. And we had Friday football in our neighborhood. And we would play football. We'd get off the bus and immediately go play football at the neighbor's house.
Good times, man. And then what happened? We became adults. And every time, my kids used to tell me I can't wait until I'm grown up. And I'm like, just wait. It's coming. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. Adulting is not much fun by and large. You just wait. Your time is coming. And now that they're both adults and they call me and they're just like, Dad, I didn't realize that. And I'm just sitting there. I told you so. I warned you. Don't grow up, but you didn't listen. And now you have been infected with adulthood. There is no cure.
I like infected with adulthood. They call you and they go, Dad, I didn't know about this thing you always talked about, bills. It's real. It's true. I didn't know it really existed.
Still on my
oh, man.
I pay them all. I still have to pay all of their bills as well as my own. So they still have no clue really about how much fun adulting is. But, on the flip side of it, I don't think either one of us are the storybook adults. We still spend a lot of time having fun, getting out in the community. We're whatever adulting is. We're not certainly not going to be the Disney Channel dads, which are all bumbling idiots, and then they just roll. No, we're out having some fun and still trying to serve. And that's what brings me joy, is getting out into the community, doing these shows with you, talking to people on the square, going and having an adult beverage with friends on a Saturday evening, in moderation, of course. These are the things that, last Saturday, Rob Kitty, Santa Phil, and I were out on the square with Andrea, and we were dressed up for Christmas. People are looking at us like we're absolutely insane, and yet we're having a blast.
That's what it's all about, man. You gotta have fun, Gotta have fun.
When Santa showed up, kids lost it. I mean, not just kids. I will say this too. Dressing up, just for future reference for those single guys out there, middle-aged women, single women, love Santa Claus. Just saying, if you find yourself single and you're looking for, a woman that from 40 to 50, Santa Claus and go to the square, you will find women flocking towards you. This is a discovery. I never thought this would happen, but Santa Phil was, he was swarmed, not just by kids, but by these middle-aged women as well. So there you go. Here's your dating advice from me for the week. Congratulations.
Who needs Tinder when you can dress up like Santa Claus?
They'll come running.
Love it, man. Hey, a lot of friends joining us this morning too from the Georgetown, Texas News and Events group. I always say this. I can't see who it is whenever you comment from the group, so I'm looking at the group. This is Mr. Robert Hall. Good morning, Robert. Good to see you, man. That's who sent this message. Good morning. Appreciate you. And also, he was talking about, Thanksgiving night for our kiddos. A lot of fun. And Chris Courtney joining us. Good morning, Chris. He is our Tuesday co-host from Courtney Home Inspections. He was saying that I'm alive, and that's what makes me excited. Come on. Come on, man. That's something to be excited about, is getting up in the morning, man. A lot of other friends joining us as well. Rachel Hancock, David Hagstrom. Appreciate all you guys as well. Thanksgiving right around the corner. And I talk a lot on this show, Michael, as you know, and you and I both talk about just being thankful and gratitude. And especially during this season, man, we're seeing an uptick in this corona mess that's going around. In fact, I'm not sure what's happening in Georgetown as far as the schools. I know here in Huntsville, they've had to close the schools back down for remote learning only. Luckily, athletics are still going, but there is no school going on right now in person, at least with the middle school through high school, I believe. And I think they're going to enforce that with elementary starting next week. And I did see in some school districts, Michael, that they are telling kids if they've got things at school for Thanksgiving break to go ahead and bring those things home just in case. Just in case.
Well, I am thankful, and here's one of the things that I'm very thankful for. We actually have in Georgetown and Williamson County, I believe we have great leadership. Judge Gravel, I think, has done the best that he can through this whole thing to, protect the communities, protect the citizens. I think his decisions, while I don't necessarily agree with all of them, are well thought out. And because I know that Judge Gravel is a man of faith, he has prayed about every one of the decisions that he has had to make. I think that I feel that if whatever decisions are made at the county level, which I would prefer as opposed to the state level and definitely to the federal level, whatever Judge Gravel decides is necessary for Williamson County, I'll back him up on it. Even if I quietly disagree, I'm going to sit there and I'm just going to go, okay, this is just the way it is right now for Williamson County. And of course, we swore in a new mayor on Tuesday here in Georgetown, Josh Schroeder, and I've gotten to know Josh well over the past couple of months. Stand-up guy who does a lot in our community, serves in so many different areas. I mean, he just steps up and takes care of business. So I feel really good about our leadership right now in Georgetown and Wilco to get us through this next wave.
Yeah, it's cool. Josh is from a Taylor boy too, man. He's a Wilco boy. He's born and raised in Taylor, man. So it's pretty rare that we're hearing a lot of wonderful people move into our community and a lot of people that serve, which is great. But it's you don't meet a whole lot of people in our area anymore that are from the area. So it's really cool to have Josh and appreciate what he's going to do for our community. Man, we talked earlier about just things are growing and all that, and we'll definitely have to try to get Donnie Boyd on the show to talk to him about what he's continuing to do, the great work with the Prayer Collective, and how he is continuing to help. But we were talking before we got started, Michael, that there's been a situation in Georgetown. A lot of people are finding themselves without a place to live, and that number seems to be growing.
Yes, and many of them have relocated here from Austin. I've actually chatted with several of them, mostly because I've had to basically let them know panhandling is illegal in Williamson County. You can't do that. Well, it's legal in Travis, and that's the way that the homeless population chooses to live in Travis County and in Austin. It's not acceptable, in my opinion, to bring all of that here to Georgetown, Texas. And I know that amongst many people, this is not a popular opinion because it's not a politically correct opinion. But I don't want Georgetown turning into a small Austin with regards to the homeless population. Now, the balance on that is, as men of faith, Christian faith, we have a responsibility to be advocates for the poor. We also have a responsibility to our community, and there's a balance in there. And so, yeah, I think we need to get Donnie in here and have that conversation because, what is the balance here? I really don't want my Georgetown being treated the same way that a lot of the homeless population in Austin have treated Austin. We have a homeless population that lives here all year round. They are, in my opinion, they are part of the fabric of Georgetown. We know them. We know what their issues are. We know how to assist them. We know how to take care of our own. I'm not really happy with the fact that we have a lot of these people that I'm just going to say it, entitled people moving here from Austin, Texas. They want to treat Georgetown the same way they did Austin, and that's unacceptable to me. Unpopular opinion by Michael Price.
I think your opinion's popular between a lot of folks that feel that way, and I think there is a balance, and I would love to get Donnie on and talk because for the folks that have been in the community and that population that has been here, that's homeless, that has been here for a while and has lived here for a long time, that you talk about, they are the fabric of our community. And Donnie and his group has found a great way to help and serve these guys. And I'm going to say this, man, several of those guys, I knew several guys in Georgetown growing up that were basically homeless. And then I say basically because some of them did, from time to time have a house that they would stay at with others. But there were guys that literally would sleep under the bridge there on 29 and never cause any problems. In fact, one of the guys would help me sometimes, and I'd pay him. He'd ask, "Do you have any work for me?" And he dealt with a lot of medical issues over the years, and I haven't seen him in a long time, probably over a decade. But he used to come up to Click and ask if there's anything he could do. And your heart goes out to a lot, because you got to start thinking, man, what is the situation with a lot of these people? I used to go down to Austin. And we would serve under the bridge. Church Under the Bridge is what it was called in Austin. And it was a ministry down there for the homeless. But, I got to be careful. I don't want to say the word ministry too big, because really I think what happens in a church world is we believe that feeding somebody is, what it's all about. And you go down there and you feed. Well, what starts happening is people start to expect that every week. And I think there has to be a transformation. If you want to make a difference in someone's life, of course people got to eat. Don't get me wrong. But I would go down there so often, Michael. And one of the things that really upset me one time when I was down there is a youth group came down there. And I specifically remembering a leader of this youth group saying, "I wanted to bring my kids down here to show them what the homeless population is like." And just the way that came across, I don't have a problem with kids serving, but it was almost like to teach the kids a lesson. And I don't think that's appropriate, man. And it's hard for me to relay what that was like, because it was the tone and the way that it was almost like, "Hey kids, don't do this or you're going to end up like this." What kind of message is that sending to somebody that's at maybe the lowest point of their life?
It's, but again, it ties into our directive to be advocates for the poor, to watch over the widows and the orphans. And so while we're doing this, let's understand what being an advocate for the poor versus an enabler for those that are self-destructive. And that balance is in there. I really struggle in many ways with, some of the people that I know in Georgetown that I consider part. There are a couple of guys that I've known for many years, but because of limited resources, I've had to cut them off from some of the resources because they refuse to do anything to help their situation. I mean, literally refuse to work. A couple of them got in trouble with the law because, they ran into a couple of little quickie marts, grabbed a beer and dashed out the door. And, I'm friends with a lot of the GPD. When they let me know what happened, two things happened. One, I let the cops know, okay, well, here's where their camp is. And then the other thing was, sorry, we can't help you anymore. That's just the way it is. What we're seeing though now is, and this is crazy to me, what we're seeing is people moving here from Austin because due to COVID, they did shut down a lot of the services that were available to the homeless population. And so people are literally moving here from Austin because honestly, we have better campsites. And so they're camping in the riverbed, they're camping in, different areas around, and not just camping. If honestly, our local population, they understand this. They can camp, they keep their camps clean. You would not know by and large where most of the homeless camps are of those people that have lived in Georgetown for quite some time because they keep them so clean. What we're finding is the people that are moving here from Austin, their camps look like the camps in Austin. They're just trashing the place, and that's completely unacceptable.
I agree. Andrea's joining us, and she said exploiting the poor and homeless to make themselves feel better that they're serving, quote unquote, and a lack of humbleness, but the grace of God, they could be there too. I get why that would bother you, and see that for much of the middle class and suburban churches. And, it's so true, Andrea, that I understand there's situations that people go through, and I think it's good to talk to our kids and to educate our kids. But one day, man, if I'm blessed to have kids, and hopefully Bridget and I, looking forward to getting married coming up next year finally, and I want to start a family because, dude, I'm 30, I'm 36, man. It's time to get this show on the road, man. But I don't have kids yet, but I definitely know that I don't want to use others in that capacity as an example to my kids. I think there's a better way and a different way that you can approach that. And I get where people are coming from, but I don't want to exploit someone else's bad situation that they're in to say, look, kids, if this happens, this is how you're going to turn out. Now, I think there is other situations that it's good to talk to your kids about. If this happens, this is what's going to happen. But I don't ever want to exploit poor folks and folks that are homeless, man, in that way. And Stephanie Powell was talking earlier. Appreciate you, Stephanie. Good morning, by the way. Talking about discussing the moment with that person. There's an opportunity to follow up and grow that compassion. I think compassion is the biggest word when it comes to this. And I'm going to tell you, Mike, when we were down in Austin, while everybody else was in a line, and I'm talking about the volunteers behind a table, and it was just like, oh, I'm here to serve a sandwich, and I feel good about myself because I'm giving a sandwich. I'm doing my duty. I'm giving a sandwich. And I'm not mocking anybody. I guess, but it is. It's almost like I'm doing my duty. I'm giving a sandwich, and I say that because that's what it became. It was like, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to serve others by giving a sandwich, and then that's it. And what happens? There's a huge line of people, and you're giving a sandwich, and you're giving a sandwich, I looked at that. I stepped back because I got into that, Michael, and I stepped back and I said, and there's nothing. Look, those guys down there are doing there's a lot of great people down there. I don't want to knock any of those people. And I don't want to definitely harp on anybody who's down volunteering and helping and feeding people. But I think we need to take a step back and realize it's just giving a sandwich every Sunday. Is that really helping someone's situation? Or are we really listening to people? And I think compassion, one of the biggest things about compassion is listening to people and giving them an opportunity to talk and to listen. And I'll never forget, I was down there, Michael, and there was a guy that was sitting by himself. And while I was in the middle of giving a sandwich, and I caught myself in that, God bless you, here's a sandwich. God bless you, here's a sandwich. Man, I realized I took a step back and I looked over and I saw a guy sitting by himself. And he had been down there for several weeks, sitting by himself. And this was back in the day, of the 6th Street Bridge, before they did all the artwork and all that, the lights, and started running everybody off down there. And there was a guy sitting by himself. And I felt this urge to go talk to the guy. And brother, I'm going to tell you, man, I went up and started talking to this dude. He ended up putting his arm around me, and he goes, I've prayed for somebody to come and talk to me. That's all I want, is somebody to talk to me and to listen to me. And he goes, I've been down here for months and nobody has ever came up and actually listened to me. And he shared his story with me. I asked him, I said, man, look, man, what is going on? What can I do to help you with this situation that you're facing, man? And he goes, there's nothing you can do. And I said, brother, there's always something somebody can do. And he's like, I'm eating, I'm okay. I've got plenty of food. He goes, my circumstances is that I lost my job in Corpus. I have 3 kids that are teenagers now. In fact, one of them is an adult, just got over being a teenager. He goes, I don't want my kids to see me like this. And not only that, but he had a heart condition that the doctors literally had given him like a year to live. And the guy didn't want anything. I said, well, man, look, if I can connect you with someone with medical care, do you want this? Do you need this? Would this help? He goes, brother, the only thing that I want is somebody to listen. And I'm going to tell you, it's very difficult, because especially for us, when we wake up and we got a roof over our head, we got the internet, we have a phone, we can talk to people. We got to be careful to not be judgmental and say that everybody is like this, because everybody has a story. Absolutely. As Stephanie said earlier, compassion is the big word, and you have to be open and receptive. Now, granted, there's people out there that they know how to run the system and play the system, and they know what to do.
Yep.
But we can't judge every single person based on those people that know how to play a system. If you get what I'm saying. Yeah. And just be receptive and be compassionate, man. You never know what that one moment of listening is going to do for somebody's life.
I think one of the biggest problems is when we see a a huge problem in our community. What we want to do is we want to find a blanket solution that covers everything. And there is not one for this. Okay. People are homeless for very, very different reasons. And you have to, there's nothing wrong with sitting down, as you said, getting to know the individuals. And if you can tailor if they want a solution, try and tailor a solution to that. But our world has decided that the only thing fair is if you have 100 people and you have $100, everybody gets $1. That's not the way the real world works. Sometimes when you have 100 people, you have to look at it and be willing to, and this is another word that people really hate, segregate and go, okay, here are the people that they just want to use the system, move them to the side. And now you're left with about 60 people. Okay. And then you have to look at those 60 people and go, okay, here are the ones that actually want to make a change to their life, or they desperately need something that will help them get over the hump. So now you're down to 25 people. Well, instead of just giving everybody $1, you take those 25 people and you give them $4, because they need it. And you have to use some common sense and be willing to do so. The difference between fair and justice comes into play. And a lot of people are not willing to make those decisions because, being fair is the only thing that's politically correct. I'm sorry, I'm going to lean more towards justice. I'm going to go try and find those people that do want to make changes, that are willing to help themselves. And those are the ones that I'm going to focus on. That's just me. Now, by the same token, we have a responsibility to those that are not capable. Mm-hmm. And we have to be willing to sit down, get to know these people, and make those judgment calls to say, this person is not capable of helping themselves. How can I help them? And then doing so. It's not always clean. It's not always pretty. But you know what? I'm thankful that at this point in my life, I can do that. I have certain resources. There are people that I can go to that I can say, okay, this is the need. Can you help me do this? Georgetown's a great place. When you let people know what the need is, they have always stepped up. Never. There are some people that are always going to just be the grumpy old people and whatever, or grumpy young people, or just grumpy people, and they're going to sit behind their keyboards and judge. There's a lot more people out there that will step up, given the opportunity, clear direction on what to do, and they will take care of business. It's one of the things I love about Georgetown.
Michael, I think for me and many others, and I think this could be a huge benefit for our community. Maybe there's somebody out there listening today that knows of a resource, or maybe we can get a resource started. Somebody in the community can help get this started. I want to be better educated on how to understand the needs of folks and maybe the psychology of some people who don't have a place to live. I think that it's important that we're educated so that we understand how to better be involved and better to help, and maybe how to realize the identity of someone who is basically taking advantage of a system versus someone who truly needs help. I need to be better educated in that, because for me, Michael, my thing is I want to try to help everybody and I want to please everybody, and that you can't do that. And especially in this situation, if you please everybody, there's a word that you said earlier, you're going to enable a lot of people. And I would love for there to be some sort of training or a class, something that we can take in our community, that someone understands this fully and can provide training and teaching to help people identify the needs of others in a very positive way, and also to help people understand when you're enabling someone versus truly helping them. I think that would be incredible, because that's something that I struggle with, Michael. I'll be honest, man. I struggle with helping versus enabling, and it's an area for me that I don't understand how it can be. To me, I put it all on one line when it's not. You either help someone or you enable somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I have a hard time figuring the discernment between both of those. So I think it'd be cool if we had some sort of training or a class that can help educate people on that.
Donnie Boyd. Donnie's been down in the trenches for a long time. He's a solid guy. He understands, the difference between the two. He is a gem for Williamson County. Um, that if we could help get his message out on the work that he does and his vision. And again, Donnie and I don't agree on everything, but he's been down in the trenches so long that he's probably the best resource for knowledge of this sort.
Well, I wanted to, yeah, and I would love, he does such incredible work that's going on. You were talking earlier about the people from Georgetown and just how helpful they are. Michael and Stephen Reed was saying, it's true. I'm not even from here, and the people can be very humbling and kind. And, I know social media, we see things and it's so easy to see all the negativity, but there's so much more good than what you're reading. And Michael and I joke around about it, but it's true. Take this thing and just keep scrolling, please. Please. Since we talked about that, I've had probably over a dozen times where I've wanted to comment on something, and I just did this. I just literally kept scrolling, and I felt so much better about it. I didn't why let it get to you? In fact, because of our conversation, I have blocked Nextdoor emails because that has turned in to a hodgepodge of complaining and negativity. I mean, that whole system has just went downhill quick. And if you want to talk about keyboard warrior, Nextdoor is the ultimate keyboard warrior place now.
We don't need that in our lives. I don't need that in my life. I mean, there's enough crazy in my world. I don't need any more.
Does commenting on social media in an app like, because Nextdoor turned into the speeding app is what it was. Whoever's speeding in your neighborhood, that's where you go. I just got tired of reading that. And the thing is, I understand people want to vent, but really, is that going to solve anything? No. Not one person is going to slow down because you posted on Nextdoor that this person was speeding through your neighborhood. I don't think one person is going to slow down because of that.
Well, 2 years
it does nothing.
For Christmas, I put up outdoor lights, and the theme that I did was a redneck Christmas. And I found a camo covered Santa Claus. And I was able to put tracer lights and deer on the other end with red lights coming out. I mean, this was like our Nextdoor app for my neighborhood just blew up, and everyone in my community, everyone in our neighborhood hated me to the point where my kids were asking me, "Please, Dad, take this redneck Christmas display down." So ever since then, I have not bothered with Nextdoor. I was actually reading through the comments just because I was laughing so hard. People got so bent out of shape over that. And my wife and kids asked me never to do that again. And I agreed that I would not do that again. But sometimes you go out of your way just to irritate those. And I was guilty of this, to irritate your neighbors. And now I'm just like, would I still find a little bit of joy? And if I did it again, would I find joy in reading some of the negative comments, all of the negative comments? Absolutely. But I'm not going to do that this year. I already promised Andrea and the girls that I would not do do a redneck Christmas display on our yard again. But we're okay. You know what? We're in the holiday season. We next week, it's going to be, you're coming into town. I'm assuming you're coming back to town for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, for a day or two, man. We got a crazy schedule coming up, man.
The football season. Come on, we still got to get the stuff done.
Yeah.
I know you're coming into town for Thanksgiving, and I really just, I'm going to spend the next couple of days doing some stuff around the community, just to serve. Because I have so much to be thankful for. Living in Georgetown, Texas, my family has a lot to be thankful for. And this is a big deal for us to give back to our community and to serve in our community and to take care of those that need. Now, there are people that they have homes, they have roofs over their head, their bills are paid, but guess what? They can't afford a turkey. They can't afford the big meal. So we'll find ways to make sure that those things happen for as many people as we can. And that's going to be our focus for this weekend. Me and several others, including some members of the Georgetown Beard Club, I'm going to go ahead and segue here. We're also going to be getting ready for December 5th. Don't you have something going on December 5th?
We do, man. Yeah, you guys have an amazing event going on, and we'll be across the street with an event going on. So tell us about what you guys are doing, man, with the Georgetown Beard Club.
So the Georgetown Beard Club, because they did cancel the Christmas stroll, we have our own event, much smaller, obviously. We are going to do the Christmas sachet, and in case anybody, yes, it's probably a little bit extra, but we're going to be at Barking Armadillo Brewing. We are going to have a hopefully COVID safe event outside. What we're going to do is because Santa is one of our Beard Club members, we're going to take Santa and we're going to put him inside of a giant inflatable snow globe so that families, kids, whatever, can step up. There'll be a 6-foot line around that snow globe so you can step up, take your mask off. Santa is safely ensconced inside this snow globe so you can have your pictures taken safely with Santa Claus. This is a big deal. I know that there are a lot of people that, getting pictures with Santa in Georgetown, especially Santa Phil, who is a fixture of Georgetown, is a big deal. We're going to make this happen. The other thing we're going to be doing is, of course, we're supporting small local businesses and some of the food trucks that are just losing money because part of their income is the Christmas stroll. So we're going to have Jimmy Vega's barbecue. We're going to have Lulu's pies. We're going to have Tacavron tacos. There will be food. There will be drinks available. There will be music. We're going to be Christmas caroling. I will be wearing my Christmas kilt because I'm me. Will be out there in their Christmas finest. If you have a ugly Christmas sweater, wear it. The big thing we're asking everybody is, yes, I know it's an outdoor event. Please wear your masks while you're at this event. This is for everyone's safety. Whether you agree or disagree, I don't really care. But if you're going to come to this event and we do want to see you, please, unless you're getting your picture taken with Santa, eating or drinking, keep your mask on. Now, what about you?
I think it's cool, man. I'm excited. And hey, if you guys have any flyers or anything like that, please send us some or make us some, because what we'll do is when people come through our drive-through, I will hand them a flyer about what you guys are doing with the Georgetown Beard Club. And feel free, I just thought of this idea. Feel free to put any information about what you guys do on that flyer as well, but also that event. And we'll say, hey, by the way, if you haven't, go stop by this as well. Bring your kids. I think that'd be a really cool thing to do, man.
And because you're right across the street, we'll be doing the same. We'll be sending people over to see you guys. And I think this is, again, this is part of Georgetown. You're doing an event, we're doing an event, but ultimately both events are to serve the community. And we actually have some overlap here in the charities and the groups that we wish to serve. Which
absolutely,
it's we're not trying to pull people from yours, and you're not trying to do the same thing. We're just trying to do the best we can to help everyone in our community safely.
Well, Sydney has been working really hard behind the scenes. We do an event here in Huntsville that's been very successful as far as helping the community, and we're really, really excited about this event in Huntsville. Ours is actually going to be taking place in Huntsville. It's called MASH, by the way, and several other communities do it. Radio MASH. It's called Make a Smile Happen. They do it in Bryan, outside of Bryan, Texas. We do it here in Huntsville almost 20 years. In fact, I think over 20 years now. Ours in Huntsville is going to be the second and the third. It's basically a toy and a food donation drive. And so I started thinking, well, I'm going to be in town that weekend. Sydney's been doing a lot of great work for us. And so we're organizing a MASH in Georgetown that's going to take place that weekend on the 5th on Saturday. And basically what it is, it's Make a Smile Happen. It is on Saturday, December the 5th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Numerous folks have stepped up. They're helping us out, making this event possible. We're going to benefit the Helping Hands of Georgetown, Williamson County Children's Advocacy Center, the Williamson County Regional Animal Shelter, Help Crisis Assistance, and the Playful Child Foundation. And what's really neat about this event, you come by, if you bring 10 cans of food or 5 toys or a $20 cash donation. We're going to have T-shirts, commemorative T-shirts that we will be giving away. And thanks for your donations. And these items, all of this is going to benefit these nonprofit groups. You can find more information about it at hellogeorgetown.com. Just look for the MASH event there. You'll be able to see that. And it's going to be just a great day, a great afternoon, a great opportunity to help out. Michael, I wanted to say we've had a lot of folks step up and make this possible to help us out. I want to give a special thank you to Chris Courtney at Courtney Home Inspections, Lynn Fitzgerald, who is definitely stepping up, helping us, Stephanie Holland over at Cool Waves Car Wash, Richard De La Vega at ASA Imagery, also Wally Harmon with Texas Made General Contracting, and just a couple more here, Victoria Clark of Spa Lux, and Sharon over at Affordable Signs. And then last but not least, an individual sponsor, Tom and Cecilia McKay, said that they want to help out with this event as well. So we couldn't do it without the community. But again, the big thing about this is it's going to help out these nonprofits that are needing a lot this holiday season. And you mentioned earlier overlapping these organizations. They need a lot of things. They need help. And we're just excited. You know what? Here's one thing that I'm thankful for, Michael. Some organizations that we reached out to said, thank you, but we don't need the help. And that's okay. I said, man, that is great that you don't need the help right now. And by doing that, it enabled other organizations that we reached out to say, yes, we need the help.
I think that's awesome. And again,
so we're looking forward to it.
That is one of the most wonderful things about small town Georgetown, Texas. I love the people that live here. And if I know, especially after the last election, there are people, hey, if you don't like Georgetown the way it is, you can just leave. Well, you know what? There are good people that they see what Georgetown is and they want to be part of it. I want to give everybody an opportunity to be a part of the fabric of our community. And so if you're looking for opportunities to help, reach out to Sydney. You can reach out to the Georgetown Beard Club. There's a lot of great efforts that are taking place in our community. Reach out for them. I mean, Rob, you host these people. I mean, you have put spotlights on so many of these groups over the last year that, I mean, you have helped them in such amazing ways. And you have done that. I want to give you props for that. You serve this community because you're a part of it. You're part of the fabric. Yes, currently you're living during the week in Huntsville, but you are the voice of Georgetown. You are the voice of Georgetown that you reach out and you tie a lot of people together and you bring a lot of groups together. And I just wanted to pause for just a moment. And I know that Chris Courtney and Stephen Reed and some of these other guys, they all agree. Thank you so much for the work that you do in serving Georgetown, Texas, brother. It is appreciated.
Oh, man, it's, I appreciate that. We do it because that's what we're called to do. If we have an opportunity and, we have the ability to talk to people, I think we need to utilize that and help each other. I appreciate it, man. It's, we're here for each other. We're not strong enough alone to do this, man. And so I appreciate that. And, I'm here in Huntsville and I'm working with this community and fired up about what's going on here. But, we still have an opportunity here in the mornings to talk about what we're doing back in Georgetown, and I'll forever be grateful. Now, eventually one day we'll have some other folks do the morning show and those kind of things, because I'm still getting pretty acclimated here in Huntsville and enjoying it. But I'm going to tell you, man, I still love being connected back at Georgetown, but I love the opportunities that we're starting to do because of the things that we've done in Georgetown. I mean, I'm proposing to our Rotary Club that we do a Field of Honor here now. I think it's really cool because of the things that we've been able to do in Georgetown can now transition some of these wonderful events here to Huntsville and bless this community because of what we've been able to do back in town. I think it's amazing. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to. Is I've already started talking to some folks with our Rotary Club here saying we would love, I think this would be a tremendous event for here in East Texas. So it all starts, your hometown, man. Even if you leave it, your heart's always going to be there. So, well, Michael, appreciate you, man. Looking forward to it again. Our opportunity with the MASH is going to be a drive-through event. There's not going to be people getting out of their cars. It's going to be a drive-through at the Lone Star Circle of Care parking lot. Again, it's going to take place on Saturday, December the 5th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And by the way, if you would like to volunteer, we have a Sign Up Genius. We've got 6 different shifts, 2-hour shifts. You can come out, volunteer, hold signs, accept items. Maybe you want to donate items. You can do that again from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Just make sure to sign up on our link there. We've posted it on the Facebook page. Michael, before we go, man, any final closing Friday, baby, comments from you?
Since I won't be able to chat with the listeners. I just wanted to say I have much to be thankful for in the good people of Georgetown, my family, my faith, the good people of our community. I just wanted to say thank you. That's all.
Love it, man. Well, Michael, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for all you do, man. It's 8:08. I got to get to work here in just a second. I know you got to get hopping. You got to build houses. I got to talk on radio and do other fun things. So we'll see you, brother.
And I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. We love you, man. Have a blessed weekend, brother.
You too, man.
So once again, that was Michael Price. I want to leave with a story this morning. And again, thanks to everybody for joining us today. Chris had posted a question about, doing pictures during the MASH. The reason for that, the MASH is a drive-through event, and we don't want to clog up that parking lot there. So, and Beard Club is doing their deal across the street, and they're going to be able to help out organizations as well. So, good question. But yeah, ours is just going to be a drive-through where you just drive through and drop off things. Kind of, think of it, got a couple of cones, you drive through at a tent. That's the way it's going to work. Appreciate everybody joining us. I want to leave with a story real quick. It's the meaning of Thanksgiving. This was from shortstorytime.com. It's a story here by Fannie Wilder Brown. It's a little bit of a long story. It's going to take a couple of minutes, but I want you to hear this today as we get close to Thanksgiving coming up next week. But I don't like roast goose, said Guy, pouting. I'd rather have turkey. Turkey is best for Thanksgiving anyway. Goose is for Christmas. Guy's mother did not answer. He watched her while she carefully wrote GTW on the corner of a pretty new red bordered handkerchief. 5 others, all alike, all marked alike, lay beside it. The initials were his own. Why didn't you buy some blue ones? I'd rather have them different, he said. Miss Wright smiled a little, but she did not answer. She lighted a large lamp and held the marked corner of the handkerchiefs against the hot chimney. The heat made the made the ink turn dark. Although the writing had been so faint, Guy could hardly see it before. Oh dear, he cried. There's a little blot at the top of that T. I don't want to carry a handkerchief that has a blot on it. Very well, said his mother. I'll put them away, and you may carry your old ones until you ask me to let you carry this one. I don't care to furnish new things for a boy who doesn't appreciate them. I don't like old. That'll do, Guy. Never mind the rest of the things that you don't like. I want you to take this $1 to Miss Burns. Tell her I shall have a day's work for her on Friday. And I thought she might like to have part of the pay in advance to help make Thanksgiving with. Please go now. But $1 won't help much. She won't like that. She always acts as if she was as happy as anybody. I don't want to go there on such an errand as that. Miss Wright smiled again, but her tone was very grave. Miss Burns is as happy as anybody, Guy, and she has the best behaved children in the neighborhood. The little ones almost never cry, and I have never seen the older ones quarrel. But there are 8 children, and Miss Burns only has 1 arm. And Mr. Burns has only 1 arm, so he can't earn much money. Miss Burns has to turn her hands to all sorts of things to keep the children clothed and fed. She'll be thankful to get the $1, you see, if she isn't. And tell her if she is making mince pies to sell this year, I'll take 3. The guy walked very slowly down the street until he came to the little house where the Burns family live. I'd hate to live here, he thought. I don't see where they all sleep. My room isn't big enough, but I don't believe there's room in this house as big as mine. I shouldn't have a bit of fun ever if I lived here, and I'd hate to have my mother make pies and send me about to sell them. And then he knocked on the front door, but there was no bell. No one came. He could hear people talking in the distance, so he knew some of the family were at home. Someone always was at home, here to look after the little children. He walked around to the kitchen door. It stood open. The children were talking so fast that they did not hear his knock. They were very busy. Katie, the 11-year-old girl, and Malcolm, 10, Guy's age, were cutting citron into long, thin strips, piling it on a big blue plate. Mary and James, the 8-year-old twins, were paring apples with a paring machine. The long curling skins fell in a large stone standing on a clean paper. Spread on the floor, Charlie, who was only 4 years old, was watching to see that none of the pairings fell over the edge of the jar. Susan, who was 7, was putting raisins, a few at a time, into a meat chopper screwed down on the kitchen table. George, 3 years old, was turning the handle of the chopper to grind the raisins. Baby Joe was creeping about the kitchen floor after a kitten. Miss Burns was taking a great piece of meat from a steaming kettle on the back of the stove. Everyone was working, of course, except the baby and the kitten, but all seemed to be having a glorious time. What they were saying seemed so funny, it was some time before Guy could understand it. At last, he was sure it was some kind of a game. "Mice?" asked Susan. Mary squealed. They all laughed. "Because they're small," said Mary. "Snakes? Well, they can't climb trees," Miss Byrne called out from the pantry. The children fairly roared at that. "A pantry with no window in it?" "Oh, we've had that one before," Katie answered. "I know what you might say. It's a good place to ripen pears when Miss Wright gives us some." I knocked very loudly at that. He had not thought that he was listening. The children started but did not leave their work. They looked at their mother. "Jamie," she said. Then Jamie came to meet Guy and invited him to walk in. "What game is it?" asked Guy, forgetting his errand. "Making mince pie," said Jamie. "It's a lot of fun. Don't you want to play? I'll let you turn the paring machine if you'd like that best." Guy said, "Thank you," and began to turn the parer eagerly. "But I don't mean what are you doing," said Guy. "I knew that was mince pies. I thought that was work. I meant what you were saying. It sounds so funny. I've never heard it before." "Mama made it up," explained Malcolm. "It's great fun. We always play at Thanksgiving time. You think of something that people don't like, and the one who can think first tells what he is thankful for about it. We call it Thanksgiving." A little bit of the story here. Guy stayed for an hour and played both games. Then, quite to his surprise, the 12 o'clock whistles blew, and he had to go home. But he remembered his errands and did them, to the great pleasure of the entire Burns family. In the afternoon, Guy spent some time writing a note to his mother. It was badly written, but it made his mother happy. It read, "Dear Mother, I am thankful the blot isn't any bigger. I am thankful the handkerchiefs isn't black on the borders. I would like that one with the blot to put in my pocket when you read this, but my old ones are nice. The Burnses don't have things to be thankful for, but they are thankful just the same. I am thankful for the goose we are going to have. The best is I am thankful I am not a goose myself, for if it was, I wouldn't know enough to be thankful. I think I truly learned the meaning of Thanksgiving. Respectfully yours, Guy Theodore Wright." Friends, the meaning of the story is we've all acted like Guy, haven't we? We can all be selfish whiners and complainers at times. Guy learned the meaning of Thanksgiving during the Thanksgiving season, and I think that we should too. I encourage you today to write down a list like Guy did of all that you are thankful for. If it's hard, try playing the game that the Burns' children played to get you started. At your Thanksgiving table this year, or maybe it's a virtual table, have everyone read their list so you can remember the meaning of Thanksgiving too. Friends, it's coming up soon. I hope that you have a wonderful Friday. We'll talk more about Thanksgiving next week. As always, our show is made possible by the good friends at the Oak Ridge Disciple House. Joshua Harris, appreciate him and all that he does. The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addiction. If you or someone you know needs help, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Friends, that light can be found at the Oak Ridge Disciple House. Please visit them online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Maybe you're in a thankful spirit today. You're saying, I want to help out somebody. The Oak Ridge could use your help. You can find out more information again about them at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. I know that they have many needs for these men, and they would greatly appreciate anything that you can do to help. Just reach out to them again, oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Friends, I end every broadcast the same way, and I never, ever let this just roll off my tongue because it means so much. I want to remind you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement and lend a hand of support. Somebody out there today needs you. Good morning, Georgetown. God bless you. We'll see you back on Tuesday. Until then, have a wonderful Friday and a very blessed and happy weekend. Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.